It's games 3 and 4 tonight. The Thunderbirds and the Moose go at it once more. The Moose winning 2 last night. And now the Thunderbirds trying to make a comeback and make a series of this tonight and possibly get to a 2-2 tie if everything goes well for them. Hi, everyone. TSibs with you tonight. We've got Krok back again, and we've got I'm Just Saying with us tonight, joining in, and he's going to help us out tonight. And if we have a couple more nights coming up, he'll be hopefully be around helping us out as well. Marks is off this evening, so we hope to get him back on with us in the next day or two, depending on his status. But at least we got a couple of guys again tonight to help call the games. And Krok, I'm going to go to you first. You know, we saw those games last night, and we saw the Moose be able to play the game that they want to play, and they did it without their top line contributing in those games last night. And to us, I think it felt like if you could put this line of Bert, Rocky, and Brian out in games 3 and 4, or at least one of these two games, you would think they'd come away at least up 3-1. But they've decided tonight to come back with this line twice and try and close it out in 4 games. Do you think that's pretty risky?
Super aggressive move. Definitely something that we talked about yesterday night towards the end of the podcast. But you know, the Moose are going for it, and they're trying to finish it in 4. This first game is really going to tell us, you know, if that's going to be a thing. They're facing the Kornek line in game 3. That's power on power. It's going to be a great game. And we're going to see if the Bert and Brian and Rocky line can go 2-0 in the series. They didn't go 2-0 last series against the Rampage. They got beat. So we will see what happens.
Just what do you feel about burning your top line here in 3 and 4? You got to win both, otherwise you don't see them again until Game 7.
I mean, you look at the guys' record over their season, and those 3 forwards only lost 1 game in regulation, only a couple of losses in OT. So, like as you were saying, you got to think that they're going to go up at least 3-1, if not close it out. If it backfires and somehow this series is 2-2 at the end of it, that's a whole different story, and you got to be pumped if you're Springfield.
Well, you see the teams are now in the locker room, in the matchup room, and it is the same lines that we had seen earlier. No subs, although not really surprised because we figured Nasty and Raider would both be in these games tonight. You see Brian, Bert, and Rocky up front, Pitcher and Pez on defense, Dr. Nasty in goal. For the T-Birds, Kornek, Twister, and Nemodio. Up front, Classic Karma and Jay Bask on defense, and Red Raider playing in net tonight for the Thunderbirds. And this game about to get underway. We thank Brian Adores Liz for providing the feed, and we will get ready to call this game now. The Moose and Thunderbirds. The Thunderbirds, of course, the home team for these 2 games tonight. Had the last lineup change, so they have a shot here to try and match up with this line. And not much you can do when you got to play 2 lines against these guys. You just doesn't really matter at what point your 2 lines play, games 3 or 4.
Yep, everybody gets 2. So we'll see how they do tonight.
Puck back to the point. Karma holding it. Now back behind the net. Pass out front. Broken up by Pez. Nemodio holding it. Back to Twister.
Active with the stick.
Twister tries. That was Kornek trying to wrap it. And good play by Dr. Nasty to hold the post.
Big save. It's going to be really important for the Thunderbirds to get on the board first in this game. Can't be playing from behind. Got to take the pressure off them.
Bertone gets it up for Rocky. Now Brian gets a shot on. That one put over the glass. And another face-off. I'm expecting another low-scoring game again. Another 2-1, 3-1, maybe 3-2 in this one.
Yeah, power on power. Definitely cancels each other out.
Yeah, at this point in the playoffs, you can't really count on any more blowouts happening. Everyone's played really well to get to this point. You can't take anyone lightly.
Great pass to Rocky
and a goal.
And that quick, this team has put one on the board.
zone time, right? Like Bert was able to pretty much hang in the center of the ice and no one pressured him. And he had the opportunity they had the opportunity to set up the cycle. And that's what happens. Get a quick one-timer and it's you're down to a goal.
Rocky and Burke gets one of the assists here at 5:01, putting the Moose up 1-0 that quickly.
Oh, 2-on-1. No, maybe not.
That one's offside, and now comes back the other way, the Thunderbirds. Good play by Nam, but not able to get a good shot off, and a save by Nasty.
Big defensive win on the draw.
Behind the net, good pass out front. Puck is sitting on the doorstep, and Burt not able to slam it home. Another great opportunity for Manitoba. Good kick out by pitcher Swag. This defensive pitch and Pezdemic, a solid core here.
Very solid.
Good pass out front. Now a good lead in. And Nasty making the save and holding on to it.
It's a tight one. Yeah, Pitch and Pez are probably two number one defensemen on the same pairing, I would say. They're both very, very solid defensemen.
Back to the point. Shot goes wide from Bask. Now puck loose in front. Taken by Brian. Now Rocky back over to Brian. Rocky finds a wide open Bird, but he could not connect. He had the side of the net open.
This line looks really good to start this game. They look like they're on.
Bert said earlier to me that they really just want to close it out. They have a lot of respect for these guys, but they feel like they've got the momentum to do it.
100%.
Wrap opportunity there for Twister, no good.
That's the second wrap attempt by them.
Twister tries again. Good play by pitcher to stop the shot from really getting on to Nasty, and he'll hold on to it. Manitoba up 1-0, 6.5 minutes left to go in the first period. Point shot by Bass, knocked aside, picked up there by Kornek. He tries to short-side it in, but again, Nasty there. And I think if you played against Kornek, guys, you know he's going to try and go short side a lot.
Yeah, they're really driving those corners.
And Springfield not able to win the faceoff in the Moose zone. Kicked in by Burt. Good movement by the Moose. They really are trying to spread out their offense. Intercept by Burt. Now Brian. Burt poke checking, gets it controlled. Behind, Brian's got it. Good defensive play by Bask, and now a fight, and a penalty is going to come against Springfield. Looked like Rocky got knocked down there.
And once again, we're going to see this penalty kill 90% when this series started. Number one overall in the playoffs. Get a chance to kill off a Manitoba power play that's been pretty good in the series so far.
An opportunity again right in front. Knocked aside. Springfield has settled down a little bit defensively, but still the Moose pushing again with the puck in the zone. 50 left on the power play. Good keep in by Pitch. Pez gets it over to Rocky. Back to Pitch. Good shot, but a great glove save. Long distance, but Raiders there. And the puck out again. All the way down. Last couple of seconds tick off the penalty for the Moose, and now teams are at full strength. 1 minute left to go in the period. Close. Face-off circle blast by Pez, but cannot find an opening there. Raider position well.
And fair play to Raider. He's made some pretty big saves so far in this first period to keep them close.
Yeah, if they can escape the end of this first period with only down 1-0, they gotta at least take something out of that and try to turn that into momentum in the next period.
Definitely, because for the most part, they've been, taken advantage of.
Puck cleared around now. The period is over. time winds down, and the Manitoba Moose with the early 1-0 lead. And you see 8-3 shots on goal for the Moose. Time on attack, pretty even though. Springfield with only a few more seconds on attack.
Yeah, maybe not as lopsided as I thought. You know, Manitoba's definitely getting their shots, but the time on attack actually being in Springfield's favor slightly is interesting. But you can see that passing percentage for the Moose. They're making crisp passes right now. 84%. That's pretty high. It's good stuff.
That's always a recipe for success.
Yeah.
Period 2 about to start up now. Springfield in the white. Manitoba in the white, Springfield in the red. Pass out now, a slot shot, and it looked like Karma had the left side of the net open, but put it to the right.
He shot the wrong side of the net there. That's a defenseman shot for sure.
Now back the other way.
Rip it and rip it.
Yeah, back the other way is Brian. Rocky trying to help him out with it. All three forwards there in the corner fighting for the puck. And again, Brian trying to get it now. Kornick gets it up the other side. Good pass by Bask, and he'll wrap it in.
It's offside.
Moose come back. Burt, good quick shot. Rocky almost there in time to maybe get up a rebound. And now Brian gets tripped. That'll be a penalty. He holds on to it, gets it back to the point, and it goes all the way down the ice as Pez missed on the shot. And thankfully, although it wasn't really on net, Nasty was still there just in case. Now Burt tries to get it to Brian, but it's broken up by Karma, and the penalty is going to be called here. Another power play.
Got to watch yourself. Got to watch yourself with the penalties here. And versus this Moose team, we saw that last night, getting into trouble. It's going to be difficult to keep it a 1-0 game when you're giving them a lot of chances.
I think that was the second straight time we saw Burt carry it over the blue line himself successfully. Something to watch going forward in the game. See if they can stop that, or if he's able to start taking advantage of it when they do step up on him.
Yeah. He's got a lot of time and space. That's for sure.
Back to the point for pitcher. Puck deflected, just goes wide though. Now trying to get the puck out. And Springfield gets it down the ice, picked up now. 50 seconds on the power play. Another good drive or so left maybe for the Moose. Back to the point. Pitcher has an open shot, but Raider is there to make the glove save and holds it.
Again, the same entry with Burt carrying it over the blue line, cutting to the outside.
Yeah, they gotta clamp down on that center ice. I don't Twister or if someone else needs to rotate there, but it's too easy.
Trying to get it back for pitcher there for a opportunity, but it goes past him. 10 seconds on the power play. Moose with a rush up while teams are now even. Pass in front is broken up, almost knocked into the crease there, but good play by Bask, and now up the left side is Springfield, broken up. Now the Birds come out again. Good long pass. He has Kornick, but he couldn't break free. Pitcher was there to stop him. And now puck rolls out of the zone. We're halfway through this game. Still 1-0 Manitoba.
It's a tough animation.
Now another pass goes past Kornick and offside. I haven't seen an awful lot go right for Springfield yet. Not many got good opportunities. As I say that,
people who play that game, this game, seeing that pass go past everybody is just unfortunate, and we all know it.
Yeah, it's absolutely something that we see a good deal of. And pass in front. Ooh. Rocky had an opportunity, could not find an opening. Wrapped around by Kornick, picked up by Paz. He gets it up to Rocky. Brian on the right side. Good hit by Burt, but he couldn't stop the pass from coming out of the zone. Twister holding on to it. Gets met by Brian and Burt, but still holds on to it. Now back up front. Good shot there by Nemodio, but Nasty is there, and the Moose control.
And no really 10 bell chances by this Thunderbirds yet.
Great pass by Rocky to Brian, and a quick goal here. And that we've seen this by this team. They're very good on it.
Two wide open cross crease passes back to back there to open up the ice.
Another opportunity in front. Puck is loose, and all three forwards are there, but Raider able to cover it up. That was Brian from Rocky and Paz at 15-17 to make it 2-0 Moose. Another shot on net. Didn't get all of that shot, and so Raider was able to get
deflected.
it. Now another
big shot advantage.
Yeah, now the T-Birds able to come out with it. Pass in front, got Korn. Nice pass by Twister to find Korn, but a good save.
Play.
Dangerous pass up the middle, but the Moose got away with it. Burt. Nothing on the corner there. Less than a minute left to go now in the second period. And back out the other way is Nemodio. He'll start out with it. Has to throw it in. Twister tries to backhand it. Something, has nothing there. And the final couple of seconds tick off here. And the Moose thwart that offensive push there in the last seconds.
And something we just saw at the end of that period that we saw in the last two games of this series, defenseman wide open for the Thunderbirds and no pass up to the point, trying to force something cross-creased against a really good defensive-minded team. It's rough. You can't continue to force.
17 shots to 6 in favor of the Moose. They had 17 in game 2. They had 21 in game 1, and that was a shot fest. So the Moose, again, continuing to get a lot of shots on net.
And it's just the Thunderbirds unable to make the Moose play their game, right? The Moose are playing exactly the way that they want to be playing right now, and that is not a recipe for success. They got to do something to get them off their game.
And we saw the Moose actually take control on time at attack after that period as well, after a close first.
Third period underway, and again, the Moose with an opportunity. Burt gets knocked off a little bit by Karma. Now T-Birds come back. Kornicht. Shot partially deflected. Twister. Doesn't really have an opportunity in front, but it gets a shot off. Good block by Pitcher there.
And all 5 Moose players are collapsing right to the front of the net there. They're begging them to pass it up.
Another good chance for Burt, but Raider stood his ground and was able to squeeze the pads and hold it. Burt comes away with it. Rocky back out to Burt. Puck is loose, and Raider is making some saves that are keeping Springfield in this one right now.
100%. And I don't know what the game plan is for the Thunderbirds here, but leaving Burt so wide open on every play is not working.
Yeah. They're having trouble covering all three at the same time, guys. It really seems like they're struggling to do that.
And it just looks like Burt's the one that has the most room. On every play, he's wide open.
Brian out front finds Pez, but shot not directed well. Brian gets another opportunity, another save by Raider. Kornicht finally gets it out.
And like him or hate him, Raider is definitely having a good game tonight. This is by no means his fault. He's keeping the Thunderbirds easily be 5 or 6-0 at this point.
Face off won by the T-Birds. Can't get a shot off, and now out of the zone. Pez controls. Finds Burt. Got a couple of options. Shot is the save, and Rocky couldn't get it. Nice play by Bask. And now back the other way is Kornicht. Tries to get it back to the point. Bask almost kept it in, could not. Now back the other way, Burt trying to split the D. And T-Birds come out with it again. Good check by Burt. Wow.
Burt having a game.
Big open ice hit right there. Good defense coming back to help out. Stopping another opportunity. 9 minutes left to go in the third here. 2-0, and it has been a lot of play, obviously, for the Moose, but Springfield's done enough to keep in it. They've done that before in the playoffs.
Yeah, prior to Burt laying the guy out at center ice, that was kind of a big time to be going down the ice. Half period left to go, down 2-0. You want to stay poised, but you got to start making something happen.
Yeah, they're going to have to start sending it for sure.
Good pass in front by Cornick. Now they're trying to switch things up, I think. And good opportunity goes by the boards. Bryan controls, gets it back to Burke. Good shot. Raiders there. Now Bryan again. Back to the point. Another shot by Pitcher. This is some of the best use of your defensemen on offense that I've seen all playoffs.
Yep. And that's the Moose's game. They trust every player on the ice. And it's just not happening on the Thunderbird side. You look up the ice when they're in the zone doing anything, and the defensemen are wide open.
It feels like every time the Moose hold the puck, whoever has it and is holding it is doing it with such great poise. They're not panicking. They're getting it to the right guy.
100%.
Couple more shots for the Moose, but not able to get anything through. Now Springfield trying to wrap it in, get something going, but look how quickly Pez gets it up, and all of a sudden, Bryan's coming the other way. Wow, what a quick transition game right there.
Yeah, it's counterpunching.
And they haven't had to do much of it this game. Like I was just saying, they have always slowed down. They've had poise, but that was a big one to just get out quick and try to maybe ice it.
Namo had a chance there, but a good defensive play again by Pez to stop it.
Yeah, on a 4-on-2. That was a 4-on-2 rush for over the blue line, and that's the only shot they could get was that little dinker.
They're going to need something quickly here, like Juss was just saying. It is now or never. Just struggling to get it through the neutral zone. And again, another play defensively. And the Moose start out again.
Just calculated. The Moose played one of their better games. I think this is probably one of their better games in this playoffs, to be honest.
Another good shot. And Rocky gets off a good one. Now coming back the other way, 2-on-1 opportunity. Good defensive play to take the shooter, to take the puck handler, and they left it back for the slot shooter instead of on the other side of the goal. So it looked like it was going to be a golden opportunity for a goal there, but just could not connect.
And that was Nasty's best save of the night. He's had a pretty quiet night in net, and that was a big one. Just to snuff that out, and no hope with 13 seconds left. Right, it's pretty tough, difficult to score too in that time frame.
I mean, you'd almost have to have one of those face-off ones that go right past your goalie and then right off the opening draw.
Final seconds ticking off, and the Moose are about ready to go up 3-0 in this series with a 2-0 shutout over Springfield. And boy, that is just the kind of game that the Moose can play well. So we saw Springfield do this all season, guys, and especially in the playoffs. We saw them, win these low-scoring games, these tight games against Hershey a couple of rounds back. They have the ability to win the low-scoring games, but the Moose are just beating them at their own game right now, mostly by offensive possession, really.
Yeah, you can see that the Springfield was trying to establish a game down low, but all they were getting was early on was a couple of forced wraparounds and a couple try to go short side. But as Krok pointed out earlier in the game, they weren't getting it back to the point. They weren't spreading the team out at all, and just by collapsing, they kind of just dared them to turn it over.
So you see Bird's got an assist. Rocky and Bryan have the goals. Rocky got an assist on that goal from Bryan as well, and Pez also got an assist. The scoring was the Moose in the first period.
Bertone with 10 shots on that.
Wow.
And Brian letting us know that Pitcher and Pez have 0 giveaways apiece.
Wow.
And a lot of takeaways. So definitely a dominating game by those 2 defensemen. And like I said, those are probably both 2 number 1 defensemen on pretty much any team in the AHL, I would say. I played behind Pez for a little bit this season, and I know how good he can be. He made me look very good.
The 27-7 shots on goal is the amazing thing right there, and that is obviously the highest the Moose have had in the 3 games so far. About 2.5 minutes more time on attack. I thought that was actually going to be a lot higher, quite honestly, from what we'd seen.
And 10 of those 27 shots, he was firing everything on that. And like I said, might not show on the score sheet with only 1 assist, but he was really pushing the pace this game with the hits, the defense, the face-offs, and just being open and creating havoc in the defensive zone for the Thunderbirds.
There was times, as you said early on, he just had all the space in the world, and even late in the game, there was one time he picked up pretty much at his own blue line and skated it into the offensive zone before anyone was even within 5 feet of him.
Just really dominated by the Moose in this one. I don't know. I mean, the only positive thing I can really take out of this is the fact that, Rader stood on his head in 27 shots to only give up 2 goals is pretty damn good, and that might be something that they can use as momentum. But it's going to be it's going to be incredibly tough for them to win a game if they're giving up that many opportunities against this line.
And the worst part about it is to be outplayed by this margin. I mean, granted, the score was close, but to be outplayed by this margin and then know you have to go against the same line again.
Yeah, and that
might be a very quiet locker room.
Yeah.
And this is the first time this playoffs that Kornick's actually been shut out, right? I mean, you put probably one of the better offensive players in the playoffs this season, and you go and shut him out, and you're, on paper, second line has to go up against his top line, who literally just dominated the 5 or 6 best players on your team. Like, there's going to have to be a really gutsy effort here by the Thunderbirds. They're going to have to try to do something different than the Kornick line just tried to do, because whatever the game plan was there did not work. That line absolutely dominated. Well,
again, we're looking at the stats here. You see 27 shots to 7 shots in favor of Manitoba. The time on attack we talked about, passing percentage, Manitoba was up in the 80s for the first 2 periods, so they were doing it, and you could see it on the ice. They were doing a hell of a job moving the puck around and just able to find their teammates pretty easily. Just a tremendous, if you're going to watch a team and how to play this game and how to get everybody involved, they absolutely were able to do that, and it was just a clinic they were putting on out there on how to play this game as a team. 16-9 face-offs in favor of Manitoba. Couple of power plays for the Moose, none for Springfield. So that, again, everything positive for the Moose, and totally dominating, maybe not killing, but definitely dominating the game in general. See if we can. Don't know if we're going to be able to get anybody on. Well, if the Moose win Game 4, of course, we'll probably have half the team on at that point. But I don't know if we're going to get anybody from them right now. Anybody who is playing the next game, and that's a tribute to how these guys are. They know they're up 3-0. They're not going to sit back. They, like they said earlier, they have a chance to really crush things here, and they've done it for Game 3, and they're just not going to let up in Game 4. So we're probably not going to get a chance to talk to any of them right now.
No, and I think the the rhetoric across the league right now is that this is probably going to be over, I would think. But at the same time, anything can happen. This is NHL, right? So we'll see. I mean, we're going to need it. They're going to need to have a huge effort from the next line that plays. And they've got the defense to do it, I think. I like Corey and I like Horror. I like the way that they played all year. Raiders in net again for game 4. He just had a really good game. And you're really looking at what I and Apparition and Please Trade Me can do against the same line and same defensive pair.
Kind of just goes back to what you said earlier, Sibs. At the same time, the Moose have to keep their foot on the gas pedal, and that's what you're saying. Like, you can't really expect anyone to want to hop onto the show or anything yet, because they just need to kind of have that quiet focus, determination, keep going.
Right.
Because everyone who's Springfield's still here. They deserve to still be here. Anything can happen in one game. You don't want to take it for light, because every game that if they do slip up and it becomes 3-1, then what happens if they win again 3-2? You don't want to let it get away from you anytime soon. But at the same time, the other side, you just have to have that hunger and have the players on teams that say, I will not let this happen.
Yeah, I mean, the series, like, the thing, you got to win, obviously. I mean, it's pretty set in stone. You got to win the next game. But, being down 3-0, just based on the lineups that you have for the next couple of days, if you're the Thunderbirds, Kornak's going to get another shot, right? And your second line's going to get another shot as well, too, right? And for that to even be considered, they're going to have to win this game 4. So it's not do or die. Like, it's not all doom and gloom right now, but there's going to need to be a pretty historical effort here in game 4 for this Thunderbirds team. And if they can get over this hump, then there is a possibility for them to start getting on a roll, right? Because you're going to have your players be playing, and it's going to be against the Moose second and third line. So, like, the matchup is there. It's just, this is a pretty tall hill to climb.
It's incredibly tough to be down 3-0 in any series, and certainly back in season 4, the Bears were, and we tried to be to play damn good hockey. I remember Moosopotamus in net. He played well all series, just couldn't get the breaks as a team, and they, Stockton wound up sweeping us, but it's really tough to get focus and determination to go out there for a game 4 when you're already down 3-0. And at this point, Springfield knows they have to beat these guys now 4 straight in order to win. And at least 2 of those games are going to come against this line and then the other 2 lines as well. So, it's awfully tough to have any confidence that the series isn't over by now, but that's what the Thunderbirds need to try and stay in this one and to make it competitive. They have to at least only worry about this game right now and now think about, the next 3 that are coming should they win in game 4. It's the only way. I mean, it's an old cliche to take it one game at a time, but you can't think too far ahead. I think, it is what it is. The lineups that are going tonight aren't going to change. They're locked in now at this point, and I just think that Springfield, what they just need to do is just go out there with some reckless abandon and play, maybe play a little bit different than they have been. Maybe switch it up, dump the puck in, try and move the puck in, try and do some give and goes.
Use your defense.
Something. Use your defense.
Like that.
Everything. Yeah.
Especially considering it's the same line going against Manitoba, so they might be kind of playing in that collapsing type style right now after this past game. So if they can go into the next game, drop it back to the point, get some shots, maybe tips, redirections, whatever, something different.
I mean, we know how this Moose line plays defense, specifically the forwards. They're going to collapse. You got to be able to get some shots, even if they're just little low shots. They don't have to be slap shots. They don't have to be you don't have to shoot to score. You just got to shoot.
Like, we saw a great example of it. I'm getting a bad echo. I'm sorry if anyone else is.
No, I'll try and work on that. But yeah, it's I think I think Springfield has good character on this team, so I don't think they're going to have any problems going out and trying to at least, hey guys, let's play to at least stop a sweep. Let's at least upset that, that possibility, so that you've got something to play for, and not just you're going to throw your sticks on the ice and wait for 60 minutes to be over. And I'm hoping that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
Well, they're trying to get the game maybe to start a little early if possible. We'll see if that happens. My guess, probably not. It's hard to get the guys to show up on time, much less show up early. But we'll see if that actually happens. Just to talk about the first couple of games, it was a 6-2 win for the Moose in game number 1, and it was that line of Max on the right wing who played incredibly well with a couple of goals. J.K. Hank had 2 goals, 3 assists. He was 81.5% on faceoffs. Snowy with a goal and 3 assists. So that front line just did tremendous in game 1. Killer Sound had a goal and 2 assists. He had that nice shot from the point that went in. And Arch Magus, who, again, on this team for the 3rd year in a row, one of the couple of few guys who have a chance to win 3 cups in a row now, making 12 saves in that first game. Tater had a goal. Had 2 goals, sorry. The 2 goals for the Thunderbirds in that game. Traz with 2 assists. And Twixter had to face 21 shots in that game. So, again, always tough to be able to be competitive when you're facing that many shots. Twixter getting the start in the first game. And I've seen that happen before. I've started game 1s when I wasn't the first goaltender in the playoffs. So I think maybe the T-Birds were hoping to possibly steal one there. It didn't happen. In the game 2, it was a much better game for the T-Birds, much more to their style, and they were down 2-1, and they were working to try and tie it up. A late goal by the Moose. Nazi had 3 assists. JMM had both the 2 late goals in this game to put the Moose ahead for good. Time on attack was nearly even in that game. 17-11 in favor of the Moose on shots. And that wound up really spelling how that game went. Dr. Nasty had 10 saves, so again a low shot total against them. Raider made 14 saves in that game. So much more to the T-Birds' style, and I thought maybe this game, Krok, that the T-Birds coming off of that game might find a way to play their style a little more the way they did against Hershey, to try and keep it close, to try and stay within striking distance, whether it's a goal down or even or whatever. And they kind of did that in game 2, but today in game 3, they kept the scoring low, but they just never could get the offense going. And again, you can lose 1-0, 2-0, but you can't win a game if you can't put the puck in the net.
100%. And you expect when you go power on power, one of those power lines are not going to be able to play the game that they exactly wanted to, unless you're right, they do keep it close. And in the game we just watched, there was no semblance of the Thunderbirds game plan at all. They really played right into the Moose's hands when it comes to that. So we'll see how this second line can come out and impose their will on the Thunderbird side. I mean, they're going to have to do something different here. We've said that a couple of times now. It's just, you need to just give these guys a different look, something they haven't seen yet in these playoffs, because they've pretty much taken every challenge that's been thrown at them. Season long, and you got to give them a loss right now. That's what it comes down to.
Well, again, we were waiting to see if we can get this game going a little sooner. Probably will not happen, but because
of course,
just cause probably will not be the case.
Did you want to take the opportunity now to call out some of the guys who are going for their 3rd and 2nd Calder Cup? Because I think that's pretty interesting. I mean, Arch Magnus, right? Brian Adores Liz and Killa, they're going for 3 straight Calder Cups here. back to back to back.
Yeah,
which is amazing.
It's funny. I knew that Arch was there. I thought Brian had been there for season 5, but I wasn't sure. Killer's the guy who I was a surprise to me. I mean,
Yeah.
he's what you hope for. A defenseman who plays really well, who goes unnoticed. It's funny because defensemen are playing well when you don't notice it, unless they're scoring a lot. And Killer's one of those guys who's been a stalwart back there on defense and has been incredibly tough for them and given them the opportunity to to be able to have a good defense every season. They've built on it, but you got a guy like Killer always coming back every season. That helps.
Yeah, 100%. And he's been steady and quiet, and that's exactly what you want from a top D-man. You don't want to be saying their name too much during when you're watching during a broadcast, because when you're a defenseman, unless you're making some sick plays, it's pretty bad when you're hearing their name every so often, right, with giveaways and stuff like that. But Kill has been amazing. We know how good Brian has been. Arch has been solid, although he's not the premier goalie this time around. He's been very solid in the games that he has played, and there was a time here in the playoffs where I was saying that he should definitely be playing more games, and Nasty's definitely shut my mouth when it comes to that. But I think Arch does deserve a large bit of the credit here. He's been a very solid backup goalie. Some other guys who are looking for their second Calder Cups. So we have Bob the Ostrich. He was on the team last year. We have obviously JMM, Lobo, and Nazi. So the whole management team looking for their back-to-back Calder Cup. Pezdemic was with the team last year, and he's looking for his second in a row. And then a few guys who were back in season 5 with the team. Pitcher Swag, who's back with the team now. Right. And I think that's pretty much all of them, right? So some decent turnover across the team. Obviously the management team being there, able to keep Brian around and able to keep Killa and Arch around. I mean, full credit to Dead Soul for giving these guys the opportunity to even play, right? Because he could have just held all year long, but he gives his AHL teams a shot to win, and he gets some credit for a third straight Calder Cup potentially too.
Yeah, I unfortunately had to play against a lot of these guys over the last couple of seasons prior to this one.
Right. Yeah, and it hasn't been fun for anybody. And you mentioned Dead Soul, and full disclosure, Dead Soul is a good friend of mine, and I've talked to him about this game constantly. I think he's one of the smarter and mature guys in the league, and there are going to be guys who are going to disagree with me, but they probably haven't talked to him nearly as much as I have. He's struggled in the NHL a little bit. He's had some issues trying to get a team to win up there, but I think that the fact that the Moose have been champs, and people want to say, well, you got to break these guys up and all that. That's true, but if you also let a team continue to stay together and you're able to sign these guys and get them back and get good guys in management, and you got that kind of a talent, that can come back for a couple of seasons in a row. To me, that's good ownership. That's good management by the GM and the AGMs. You got to give Nazi and JMM a lot of credit for this as well. It's all of that. And Dead Soul is the ownership who, through his faith into these guys for the last 2 seasons, and they've shown up and they've proven that they're worth it.
100%. And an interesting thing to know, and I don't know if this is Dead Soul's choice, being it the summer season next year, but he is not going to be the owner of the Winnipeg Jets. It's actually going to be JMM. So JMM is definitely going to be making the step up to the Jets next year. That was announced today. It's still up in the air where Nazi and where Lobo are going to be, if they're going to be allowed to be in the AHL again, or if they're going to be forced into bidding, as we've seen with the Iowa Wild team. Both Tommy and Beast were told they weren't welcome back to be AHL GMs, for fair balance to the league. They want the guys who are supposed to be in the NHL to be in the NHL. So we'll see what happens with a lot of this team, right? Brian, Bert, right? Those two guys are probably looking at NHL next year, much like we saw with Pasta and User from last year's Barracuda, if I'm not mistaken. They are in the NHL now, right? So it's very interesting, and no better guy to take over the Winnipeg Jets than JMM. I think he's a good manager, and he's clearly built a successful team the last 2 seasons for sure. And if he's learned anything from Dedsole, it's learned just to be a quality person and to not screw over your AHL team. Give them a chance to win, which is the most important part, especially when you're working as a team across an entire organization. It's very important to work with your AHL.
Yeah, you've got to have management, and you've got to have players who are more than happy to do what the team asks them to do, to not, and we've seen this without naming names, to not, get traded and then quit because you don't like the fact that the team traded you away from your AHL team. All that kind of crap. You've got to have the mature players to go with the mature management that is able to command the respect of the team and the players because they're doing things the right way, and they've got the team that's mature enough to understand that that's what you need to make this happen and to make it fun, quite honestly. If you do a lot of bitching and whining all the time, that the team is not going to be happy ever, no matter how much you win. And the talent isn't going to carry you enough to overcome that, and that's what this team does. They, you see these guys in the shout box just kind of having fun with each other. They're not in there screaming at each other. They're not screaming at other teams and other players. They're just having fun with this, and they enjoy playing on this team. Same thing with the T-Birds. That's why they've been successful this season too, and the last couple of seasons they've played very well because they've got enough good, mature guys on the team who understand what their roles are and do what the management tells them to do.
It's just acting like you've been there before, right? Don't act like this is, this is your first time and you don't know how to. The spotlight of everyone, kind of the eyes being on your team and starting stuff in the shout box. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, we kind of saw the Iowa team, maybe a less experienced Iowa Wild team kind of fall apart in the second round. And we have not seen a semblance of that from the Moose. They're all on the same page all the time. And, the Thunderbirds have had a good year, but, sometimes you see that they maybe get at odds a little bit, but you never see that with the Moose. And it's amazing how year after year after year they've all been on the same page, and I don't know if that's just getting rid of those type of players earlier on in the season when they don't work, or if it's just the familiarity with the players, right? I mean, you have some guys who have been around quite a long time with the same group of management. They all respect and love each other, and winning definitely helps, right? Going for the third straight Calder Cup.
Sure.
Yeah, when you have that much continuity and that many guys who've been successful, if you're a new person to that team, like, how do you come in there and try to have a personality that doesn't mesh well? Like, that these guys have won together. They're like, you're going places if you fit in with them. They don't need to adjust to you. You need to adjust with them. So I could imagine how it'd be a quick change over early on in the season if guys didn't come in and kind of mesh well, whether it be personality wise, experience wise, or talent wise and play style. Like, what they bring to the table. They don't have to worry about changing things around you. They just have to find the pieces to fit to the puzzle they already have.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, a lot of stuff in the shout box, of course, now.
As always.
Yeah, apparently some back and forth with Raider here, and and he's getting picked on a little bit in the shout box because, again, that's what the shout box does, right? But and it sucks. But and we said this during the game, and I think we said it afterwards. You can't blame him for those 2 goals. You just can't.
Nah, but I think I think it goes deeper than just that.
Sure.
I think he's blaming a lot of what's happening on his team, and I think the comment was from Cornecht. He said, the better team won that game, and he took that personally. right? His own teammate said that, and he took it personally that it was his fault, or they thought that he wasn't good enough, and he thinks he's better than the Moose, right? And that his team can't score goals. So I think it's a little bit more than just that, but he's asking for it right now, and he's receiving in the shout box. That's for sure.
In fact, Teal just said no, Sibsy. He just brought it on himself in the show.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm sure, but once you put a little bit of chum out there, the rest of the league is going to get you. You have to know that's going to happen. And so you're really best off just keeping your mouth shut. I mean, you see, you watch post games, you see how players handle media. Every once in a while somebody might go off and lose their temper, but for the most part, they know to keep their mouth shut. They know not to go off, and I think, unfortunately, that you don't get that kind of training when you join this league. No. It's it's just something that you either have to have it and understand it, or you don't, and it's just not the case.
Use your first words very wisely when you go in that shout box.
and just like just thinking about this now, because in Game 4, I'm just hoping that he has it in him to play the right way and try and get a win and not throw the game, because this does seem like it is real. I don't think there's trolling going on here. So if he is listening, I'm hoping that he just goes out there and does himself a solid and just plays a good game, and don't go and get yourself banned, and don't waste everybody's time, including my own, because I want to see a good game, regardless of whether it's a sweep or if they can make it go to 3-1.
We have JL Aiden on with us now. He has joined us in the Discord chat here, and we wanted to get a chance to talk to him a little bit. We're going to hopefully have J.K. Hank on shortly as well to talk about certainly about Game 1, which was which obviously was a nice win for that line. JL, what you look at your team right now, and you look at how you guys have played these first 3 games. If you were to script it, could you do any better than the way things have turned out for you guys so far?
No, I don't think so. I didn't get to see Game 3, but from what I've heard, they really shut down Kornick, and I respect him as a player. He's always dangerous out there, but I just always got to keep going back to our D core and our goalies. I think that with our D, we can go up against anybody in the league. I just think that's a fact.
How much credit do you give either way to the offense or the defense? Is it, do you feel like both lend, equal amount of success to why this team has done so well, or do you think it's built on defense first and then play off of that with offense? I mean, I think in Game 3 we just saw that line dominate so well, but when it came back the other way, the defense was there so that the forwards weren't constantly rushing back to help out. I kind of feel like it's sort of a 50-50 thing here, where offense and defense are both kind of responsible for the total success of the team.
Yeah, you always got to have help from the forwards. Of the wise words of JMM on our team, it's always been said in our Discord all year, TFR, it's trap, frustrate, retaliate. So we always expect our forwards to be coming back, and then once they get back, that's that retaliate. We try to move it up with speed and get it to the net.
Well, we have J.K. Hank also joining us here now on the chat. Listen, Game 1, Hank, a 2-goal, 3-assist game, but we were talking the whole game long about how well you were doing on faceoffs, 81.5% on faceoffs in Game 1, and you seem to be able to have good control of that. Talk to me about what it takes to be incredibly successful on faceoffs like that in a Calder Cup game.
Yeah, I wasn't doing anything crazy, to be honest. I just kept going backhand and winning it back, and all season I had played wing, and then I think maybe like the last 2 weeks of the year they had moved me to center because we had changed the roster a little bit, and so it was a little bit of a change, but I know that you got to win faceoffs, and that really helps set the tone for your team and get the time on attack. And so to win that many faceoffs in the finals, especially, I think that really helped us a lot.
And your line with Max and Snowy, I mean, just again, the way you guys played, I think we've seen success from you guys, but I don't know if we've seen you guys play a game that good to this point. How would you assess game one, and do you put that as the best game you guys have played as a line so far?
Yeah, I'd definitely say that was probably our best game. We knew it was going to be a tough series, but we also knew that we had the chance to help the team out and get up 1-0 in the series. And so we really wanted to push the pace and just try and get everything we could to the net. And I think our game plan worked out really well. And so, definitely probably, yeah, for sure, our best game of the year. And it was timely to have it in the finals of all places.
And again, we've talked about defense in general for every team in this playoff, goaltending, and of course, obviously the forward line. Let's talk a little bit about your other line of Nazi and Lobo and JMM having a solid game 2 last night and playing well in that third period. How important is it in your mind that line be successful in order for you guys to win a series?
Yeah, we got a lot of faith in that line, and they played together last year, if I'm not mistaken, and so they know how to play together. And I know that they hadn't been together all year, but they decided to put themselves together the last playoff series, and we had faith in them for sure. And for them to get that win and have us go into today up 2-0 in the series and allow Brian, Bert, and Rocky to not really have as much pressure and just go out and play their game. And I think we saw that from that line in game 3. They really, played their game, and you could see that it's really hard to stop those guys if they're on.
Got one more question for JL. You get a chance to play with Bob the Ostrich, and you guys seem to have some really good chemistry. Talk a little bit about Bob's game, and it's obvious that he not only plays good defense, but he's able to jump up on forward a little bit. And obviously, you guys have to be able to communicate well to make that happen without getting caught behind. Talk about the kind of the kind of plan that you and Bob have when you're on defense in a game.
Yeah, me and Bob played together a little last year, so we were really good with each other's styles. He's more of an offensive guy, and I like to consider myself, I play without thumbs, not too good on the offensive side of the ice. So I'm always back there covering for him when he rushes up, and it's not like he makes bad pinches. Like, it's always pinches at the right time. And then even when the times when I do try to rush it, normally ends in a turnover, but I know he's always got my back there.
I think the lineup for the Moose are just about ready. Brian's got his stream up, so he's saying hello to me and Krok and company. So I think they are just about ready to go. And hopefully we get this game up and running here in a minute or two.
You said Brian's stream?
Yeah, it's same as last game. Brian adores Liz, but he is the soup Nazi. But don't spell it Nazi. For a very good reason. Well, apparently he said that Twitch will not let him spell it that way, so he had no choice but to spell it the way he did. But we're going to have the stream here, and we'll be doing a call for you. So we're going to get that up shortly here as soon as the teams are up and running. We will have that and have the feed for everyone else here. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, here on the YouTube channel and LeagueGaming.com. TSibs with you. JussSayin, Krok are here as well to help me call the game. JK Hank and JL Aiden are here as well, both from the Manitoba Moose. Chatting with us a little bit between games as we kill some time until everyone's ready. And it looks like the game is about ready to get going here as the teams are gathering in the matchup room. And you take a look now. Everyone is in there. Raider is in there. Corey and Horror, as you see on defense. in this game number 4. The first time I think that we're seeing Corey in this series, if I'm correct, right? Krok, I don't think we've seen Corey yet.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen him either. I think it was they had their third line D. They had the Hank or Basque Langs, the Basque pairing, in game 3. So yeah, this is his first game of the series.
And so this one about ready to get underway. The lineups, as you can see, are, I believe, unchanged. If I'm correct.
Yeah, I just checked. They're as is. So Raiders in for the Thunderbirds. So let's see how this goes.
And we thank you all for joining in. Again, we thank Brian Adores Liz for providing the feed. And the game is about ready to get underway here. Game 4, Moose at Thunderbirds. As you see, Nasty and Raider are in net. And the game kicks off again with the Brian, Bert, and Rocky line moving forward. Puck around. Brian leaves it. Pez could not find Brian. Now he almost picks it up for a clear shot there. Now good play in front. Bertone gets a shot off. Good pass by Rocky, but not a clean shot. And now Brian. It almost looks like we're picking up from last game.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
now back the other way comes I. Snapper on net. Good save by Nasty. Now Bert.
That is one of the few times so far tonight we've seen him actually get pinched off.
Oh, good stick lift.
I fighting for it in the corner. Brian trying to get it back to Pez. He does. Now Rocky throws it in. Brian on the right side trying to get it. He catches up. Back to the point, but a good play there by I to take the point position, and he comes back with it. Still holding on to it. Almost gets past everyone, but Pez is there to stop him.
Look a little bit better in this game, just stripping the puck off of the defense at the blue line specifically. Looks like they're getting their chances just to get out of their zone at least.
I carries it in, throws it around. Picked up by Pitcher. And boy, I tell you, every time Pitcher and Pez get the puck, they know exactly where to put it. They're not getting caught passing it right to another Thunderbird there.
Fantastic defenseman. They've won cups before.
I back the other way. A little bit of a buffer, a little bit of stream issue there. We are back underway again. Tossed in by Rocky. Halfway through the first period, no score here in game 4. Eyes offside. And so face off just outside of the Manitoba Moose zone.
So far this game, Springfield already doing better at putting pressure on in the neutral zone.
Able to break somewhat of a quasi-trap there. Shot from the point. Puck is loose and open. And a good backhander.
Big goal. That's what they needed to do in game 3. But it better late than never, I suppose. Get the early lead and hopefully try and add another one. Get this line on their heels.
I gets the goal. Now another opportunity.
Big poke check by Pez.
Good play by Pez. Yep, another deflection, another poke check, but finds an opening out front.
Jeez.
And another goal for I.
Signs of life.
I with his second goal of the game. I think Please Trade Me and Apparition got assists on both of them, but we'll try and double check that later. Now again, another opportunity. Nasty there to make the save, and Springfield finally getting some good offensive push for really the first time I think we've seen this kind of pressure by Springfield all series.
Yeah, and it's easy zone exits. It's quick and easy zone exits, and it's something that we've seen this defensive pairing on the Thunderbirds do a lot all playoff long since we've been covering them. They've really good first passes.
The Moose start out. Bertone wraps it around, tries to find Brian, but he can't. Horror gets it out. Up for operation, but not able to connect with him. No icing called on this. Bert, now Rocky. Brian looking for an outlet. Tries to throw it behind the net, but can't. Bert with a good steal. He gets it knocked off his stick. Pitcher in front, tries to find Brian, but just out of his reach and deflected. Under a minute now, first period. Bert and Rocky tries to get in front, and Brian picks up the rebound and jams it home.
It's finding that soft spot in the defense. We've seen that a couple of times tonight already. Just in front of that, just hang around for that rebound.
It's that slow play, that possession, and just that poise that they showed so far all series and really all season.
No panic.
Now a 2-1 lead. Good last opportunity there, but momentum, a little bit of momentum swing here as the Moose get on the scoreboard there with a late goal in 1929 by Brian from Burton Rocky. But it's 2797 with the first two goals. That first goal, a backhander, got it off quickly just before an opening was going to close quickly, but a nice backhander.
I'm going to throw something in here in the intermission. Hang on. The T-Birds here are doing a really good job of breaking up the Brian line cycle here. They're having trouble getting into the zone and getting set up right.
You see shots on goal, 5 for Springfield, 3 for the Moose. Time on attack is relatively close. The numbers look a little bit better for Springfield now, as we saw compared to the first game tonight. And so the T-Birds may not have liked the idea of trying to start this game early, and have come out and have played a lot better so far.
For sure. That's a veteran move, delaying everybody's night by waiting until the exact moment to start the game. Definitely want that Burt line to sit and wait for a half hour before they get to play again. I can see why they did it.
And just to really clear their team's heads.
Yeah, for sure. Get a game plan.
Second period starting now, and again the Moose on attack, puck loose in front. Now Har gets it out. Up for he gets past Pez. Flips one on net, but not able to get a good shot off there. Pitcher doing a good job helping out on that side. Brian flips it in. Has Burt. Good punch away there by Trade Me. I can't control it enough. Now flipped out. Good lead pass for Burt. He's got a break. And he scores.
Pass.
Good fake to the left, and then comes back with a forehand. Great pass on that one, as you mentioned.
Burt is always finding space.
What a pass. That was 3-line pass. That was beautiful. My God. In a Calder Cup final game.
Another attempt for a lead pass to Brian. Does not connect, and this game is now tied at 2. And all the hard work that Springfield put in very quickly has gone away. They gave Brian an assist on that one, and I think it was his pass that made it all the way up.
Wow. And you know what? Like, that's got to be demoralizing, but the Thunderbirds got to find their horse, get back on their horse here. They can't be giving up or getting down on themselves. It's 2-2.
Go ahead, Juss.
Looks like we have a lag out at center for the Thunderbirds.
Oh, we do. You're absolutely right. Well, that'll slow this down a little more.
Yeah, just
that's unfortunate in these games where that can happen, and I feel bad for the T-Birds. Good opportunity there. The shot goes wide. Now back the other way, Bertone. Point pitcher Good play by Apparition to knock him off of it. Now back the other way. In for I. He comes around the other side, but good play by Rocky to help out. Tries to lead Brian. Don't think that's going to be an icing. Nope. Brian loses control, and now back the other way is I. He's making end-to-end runs now to help out.
Yeah, and the Moose are trying to stretch this out right now. They're really stretching their defense right back into their own zone.
Ooh, good opportunity, and Rocky was about ready to wind up to a far side shot, but he got tipped off of it. And now Moose back the other way with some good defense. More than halfway through this game now, tied up at 2. And Burt just trying to hammer that home.
Too much room. Especially for a guy like Burt. It's 2 games in a row. He's just been doing whatever he wants.
Behind the net, Pez gets it around the pitch. Get a little greedy with a pass up to Burt. Now comes back the other way. Springfield. Puck is loose. Pass out front, and he had Apparition open, but he could not connect on the shot. That was almost a sure goal.
Yeah.
I tried to stay on line on side there, but he just was a little bit off. Back the other way now, Springfield. I controls, gets it in front. Good poke check. Pitch and Pez both there in the corner. App gets it back. A shot just goes wide or partially deflected off the blast by Horror Scene. Burt controls. Still holding on to it. That might be a penalty. No, will not be. It was close, but a good hit by Corey. And back the other way. Puck is up. Good save, and the puck was floating up there, but Nasty able to keep it out.
Those are the worst. You're just kind of in no man's land as a goalie there.
Now a penalty called on Manitoba. Power play here for Springfield for most of the second period. And Pez able to flip it out. Brian gets hit. He gets nailed trying to maneuver in the zone.
Almost got by him.
Corey looks for Horror, but puck out of the zone now. Horror controls, tries to carry in. Looking back for Corey on the point, but decides to throw on net. Good block by Pez. Now another opportunity there and picked up as I gets another shot on net.
Yeah, I thought the pass was going to D there as well. I was getting ready to say there's been more use of the D in this period than entire game 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
For, Thunderbirds.
You're absolutely right, Jess. I mean, it's just an amazing turnaround. And Springfield getting a last opportunity here in the final seconds, but it'll end at 2-2 here. And we're going to wind up getting a restart, obviously, with a lag out at center. And so 10 shots for Springfield, 5 for the Moose here. You see Springfield really kind of holding on to the stats at this point. But for all that they've done well tonight in this game, still only a 2-2 tie, but you really can't blame them for that one. It is a good effort so far by these guys. And, better play. You get a guy like I, who absolutely has shown over several seasons that he's a solid player. And he's played well. Apparition and Please Trade Me have played well for this team all through the playoffs as well. So I think this line with that defense and that goaltending certainly has a good shot to maybe steal one here. But, they've definitely had the better of the play, I think, overall in this game.
And then, moving into the third period, this is going to be a shorter period too, right? Because it's going to be the actual first period of a game. Right. So it's going to be really important for the Thunderbirds, if they want to continue on this season, is to get that quick and early goal, because it's going to be really difficult for the opposing team to get back into it with such a short final bit of the period. So we'll see who is able to jump on the first couple minutes of this third period. Who can get a lead?
Moose are gathering in their room again, and the challenge is already in, so hopefully we'll get this one started right back up again and get this one moving right away. The goals, of course, in the second period, we had Bert from Brian, that beautiful lead pass that started out that play, and Bert able to just power right past the defenseman and put a backhander on Red Raider to tie this game up at 2. And I think overall the Thunderbirds playing their best hockey so far, but the Moose controlling period number 2. And now the question is, can they keep that momentum going into the third period here? I don't know if they're going to I can't imagine they would take any kind of penalty to try and make up that 9 seconds on the power play. I'm assuming they're just going to let that go by.
Yeah, I would think not. That would kind of be a waste of time, I would think. But you never know. I'm sure they have it figured out.
Yeah,
and
plus they're going to go on a power play. Well, one team's going on a power play anyway to start.
That's true. They will get a power play with the lag out on the side of the T-Bird, so the Moose will get one right away. And they've got everybody back. So please trade me back in at center again. He was able to connect back up, and hopefully he can finish this period out. If not, it is the third. So unless a goalie lags out, you're not going to see. We're not going to worry about anything like this. And so we get the third period started here. Game 4, Calder Cup, Springfield and Manitoba. And the power play now will start out.
The Thunderbirds playing for their lives now. Let's see what happens.
Win the period, win the game.
Yep.
Moose trying to grab control. Springfield able to knock it into their bench. Another face-off here. T-Birds control, flip it in. Lead pass for Bertone.
Nice. It's a lot of space there in that mid center of the ice.
Finds Brian on the right side, but Raider anticipated well and made a nice glove save.
Once he got across that blue line, did what we've been talking about all night. He slowed down, he had poise, he waited, made the pass.
Yep. And good on Raider for reading that one.
One good opportunity in this power play with 10 seconds left to go. Now the Moose trying to start out. Teams are at even strength now. And back the other way comes I. Tries to get a backhander off, and pitch just disrupted him at the last second there.
I mean, I's doing all he can here now.
He looks like he's a man on a mission right now.
Yeah. He's been driving the net well. He's not taking any unnecessary risks or forced passes. He's trying to do everything he can to create some offense.
Eye controlling. Tries to again get past Pez, but can't. Now a shot from the point goes wide from Horror. And now back the other way is Bert and Brian. Bert holding on to it.
Still.
Brian back to the point. Finds Pez. Brian in front. Nice shot by Bert, but again, Red Raider in position. In front, Bert. Backhander is saved.
Bert, man. Guy's got so much room out there.
Now a quick pass in front for Brian, and he puts it home.
Thunderbirds got to regroup here. That was a beautiful pass by Bert.
And right before that, because everybody talking about Bert, I was going to say, more or less than his 10 shots from last game.
Yeah, I don't know. We got to be getting close because he just had there. So once it's confirmed, it's going to be pretty close. Guy gets the puck on net. He finds the space.
Combination of finding the space and then being on the same page and have chemistry with everybody else. Make sure you get the timing of the pass down because it might only be a half-second window.
Now,
Whoa.
why this all of a sudden stopped? It's interesting when we see this happen right while action is still going on. Another fun little glitch from EA in this game.
Thanks, EA.
Burt again from Brian and Rocky. His second goal of the game at 8:10 here in the third period to make it 3-2 Moose. And this game will pick back up here in a second. And Springfield controls. Pass in front broken up.
No, if this game somehow goes to overtime, there was another lag out.
Center again. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that was please trade me again, another lag out. That is, that sucks. You play a Calder game and this is going on. But this will be the third period again, like you said, Just if there's not an overtime, he won't be back. Pass in front, good opportunity there by I. But you watch Nasty, he came off the post just enough to be able to make that save.
Yeah, that was good, and fair play to I for not just trying to stuff it short side. He realized he had some space there.
Now back the other way, under 8 minutes. Burt controlling. The Moose, 3-2 lead right now. Trying to hold on. No chance in taking a risk. Now a 2-on-1 the other way. Springfield. Now back to the point. Good play and a good block in front by Pez, but a good play by Pitch to split the forwards and keep them out of the way. Good shot on net, but a good save by Nasty.
It's a situation where your computer center is getting more in the way than anything else.
And that's the unfortunate part of this too. It's someone you don't have control over. I tries to wrap it in front. Pez again. I's going to see Pezdemic in his nightmares tonight. Good hustle by Brian to get there for the puck. And now it's loose, and Raider pushes it to the side. Now back the other way comes I.
And that would have been disastrous from Springfield.
Yeah, that was a little sketchy in their own zone there. I was just thinking that myself.
Down one with about 3 minutes left. Yeah.
Now
a 2-on-1. Rocky is able to find Burt, but he could not get the shot off. Now tries to push it in front, but a good play by Raider.
See if it costs him. Minute left.
Under a minute now, and Springfield needs one desperately. Shot, nice save by Nasty. Good right pad save. And now Rocky coming the other way with Burt. And Rocky puts it off the post. 2 seconds. One. Can you get one more shot off? They do, but it goes wide, and that is it. The Moose have won the Calder Cup in 4 straight games.
Three-peat. It happened.
It's the three-peat, and as we mentioned earlier, Arch and Brian and Killa are the 3 players, along with the owner of the team, Dead Soul, the only guys who have been on all 3 teams and have won 3 cups. And right now, obviously in season 7, that's a record at this point. But a tremendous win and a great game. At least this game wound up being incredibly competitive and just a solid game for both teams. But this line of Burt and Brian and Rocky again, Brian with a pair of goals in this one, and we may or may not get an MVP vote in here. It all depends on whether or not the Moose want to make that announcement now, but we'll try and get JMM and Nazi and some of the other guys on here to talk about that as soon as we can.
I'll tell you what my vote is. Mm-hmm. The center for the top line, Bertone. He's my playoff MVP for sure. He proved it in this final playoffs long, and I think he deserves a long look as one of the catalysts for that top line that was so dominant.
Yeah, I had to give cause to pause because of the defensemen for Manitoba over what I have seen from them over the playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
But Sibs, you pretty much could have had Bert controlling or Bert carrying just on like a sound deck to press over and over just through those last 2 games alone.
Yeah, it's just a heck of a game. I mean, again, the T-Birds come out with the first 2 goals in the first period, both by eye, at 11:27 and 12:59, minute and a half apart from each other. Looked like the T-Birds were in control, playing really well. Then late in the first period, at 19:29, Brian gets the first Moose goal from Bert and Rocky, making it 2-1. The momentum may have seemed to change a little bit for the second period. And then within the first few minutes at 3:29, it was Bert from Brian to make it 2-2. And then it took us into the third period, almost halfway through it. And again, finally, the good passing, the good quick open pass to Brian from Bert. Rocky gets an assist on that. And that is the game winner to make it 3-2 Moose at 8:10 of the third period. And the Moose have now won their 3rd straight cup. And, again, Josh, you've been around long enough, and Krok, you have as well. You've seen these teams play. You know the players on all 3 of these teams. I feel like this team overall this season might be obviously they lost some good players from the team last season, but this might be the best overall team of the 3 that we've seen win the championship for the Moose.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair to say. It would be really interesting to see somehow them face each other in some sort of quasi-dimensional Memorial Cup style tournament. But yeah, I mean, this team is amazing. They've played great all year. They've overcome some really tough tests. If you look back at their playoff run, Chicago Wolves first round, that's a great team. Iowa Wild second round, that's an amazing team as well too. A really quirky upstart Rampage team that upset a lot of good teams along the way and gave them probably their test. And then the Thunderbirds, who have been amazing all year long with Kornecht, who is one of the best offensive players in the league. And they were able to overcome all of those teams. That's a really tough road to the finals and an eventual Calder Cup.
Not that saying winning it all isn't tough, but it's one thing to win it all, and then it's a whole nother thing to win it all when you have a target on your back.
Yeah,
you just have to repeat.
And I think we have. Do we still have Hank in the room, or is it Aiden that we have in the room? We're trying.
It's Hank.
Hank, hey, congrats! And we've got Bertone in here now, and we'll hopefully get some of the other guys in from your team as well. We're looking to get hopefully JM and Nazi in here as well. Again, what can I say? I mean, this is a tremendous game for you guys. You went out there, you played. You played the game that you guys like to play, but they were shutting it down a little bit early on. You weren't really getting the kind of passing that you had in the last game happening so quickly in the first period or two. Talk to me about what the mindset was when you guys went down 2-0. What were you guys saying in the party, Bert?
Pretty much just don't get ahead of ourselves. Don't just start to try and make stupid plays. Like I've always said when I'm on the show, stick to our game, stick to the game plan, and we ended up coming out on top.
And Hank, again, this is I'm assuming this is your first cup, right? I don't remember seeing you on any of the other teams, but what does a win like this on this team mean to you? Talk to me about not just winning, but winning with this group of guys. What does that mean to you as a player in this league?
It feels really good. The last 2 seasons I've been in the league, it's been kind of tough. I've made it to the playoffs, but I lost first round both times. And this year I knew coming on this team, after them winning it the last 2 years, there's high expectations. But, winning it's great, but these guys are really fun to play with. And all season, there's never been any bitching. Everyone's always gotten along really well. And, like I said, winning's great, but when you can have a good locker room like that, that makes it that much better.
And we're hoping to get Brian. I sent him an invite. Hopefully we get him on here shortly. And try and get JM and Nazi in here as well. How do you, I just said some, I don't know if you were on at the time, Bert, but, just kind of comparing this team to the other teams, and obviously you were there last season. Mm-hmm. How would you compare this team to last season's team?
I'd say, honestly, I think we're a little better. Depth-wise, I think we're definitely a lot better. And I honestly think we're closer as a team. It's crazy to think that I was here for 2 out of the 3 championships, and it's an honor to be here. I love playing with everybody I've had to play with, and it's an honor to play with every single guy I've had here in Manitoba.
I think we have Brian on here, and I think we have Nazi, but let's get to Brian first. Hey, congrats, buddy. Pair of goals in the final game here. The game winner as well. This has to be, this has to be the way you would like to have it turn out, right? I would assume.
Absolutely, and we gave you the next 2 days off, which was another goal of ours. So.
Definitely a benefit.
Thank you.
But honestly, just another great feeling. I mean, I'm very grateful to be in this situation again, and I'm very fortunate that I've won all these cups in my first few seasons here. So thanks to Dead Soul, Nazi, JMM, and Vibes for the last 3 seasons. I owe you guys.
We're going to show that game winner in a second here, but more so in Game 3 than in Game 4. It looked like you guys definitely were more successful in Game 3 with moving the puck around. A little bit tougher for you in this last game to be able to do that. But again, just like we've seen with all 3 of your lines, you guys seem to adapt well as the game goes on. It seemed like by time the halfway through the second and the third period, you guys were getting back onto your game, getting passes through a lot better. Is that the way you saw it? Did you guys have a little trouble early on in that 4th game getting your passing game going?
Yeah, they were a lot tighter than the Game 3 roster we played, that's for sure. And you can see it in the shots, sorry. We weren't getting as many shots on, and we fell behind 2-0 early. And again, just our attitude is always don't panic. We're going to get our goals. It happened in San Antonio a series ago, and honestly, the experience pays off in situations like that. We knew we were going to come back and win that game. I don't want to sound cocky, but I knew we were going to.
We're going to show the game winner here and just show several seconds of it here leading up to it. And again, your guys holding the puck in well, moving around well, getting a shot off from Bert. And again, you guys spreading out well, sort of a triangle at all times. And again, Bert doing a good job setting up, finding you in front of the net. Not that wide open, but still you were able to get a shot off. And Bert able to thread the needle, as he's been doing really the whole series.
Yeah, we were communicating back and forth that entire play. I shouted it out in the mic. I said, I got position on him, so if you come back around the far side there, I think I'm open. And he great pass threw it out, and we got lucky on that shot. Bounced in off Raider.
And Nas, I think we have you here. Or are you you there, bud?
I'm here, man. Yep.
Hey, how's it going? Congrats on another fantastic season. You guys have just been doing tremendous work these last 2 seasons. How is this any more gratifying winning this one than the cup last season, or is it just as sweet?
I think it's just as sweet. I think last season was maybe a little bit more special just because we were battling so hard the seasons before for it. But, just as sweet. With a good group of guys like always. So yeah, it's always good.
And JM, you're here as well.
Yeah, but how are you?
They're good. Hey, congratulations again. You and Nazi just doing a tremendous job in not only putting a team together, but keeping a lot of these guys together. And obviously a lot of people at this point want to see a lot of the good players on this team move on to somewhere else after 3 championships in a row. But it's not easy to do what you guys did, to be able to keep some talented players, to know to sign guys for a couple of seasons because they're worth having around for a couple of seasons. And I think you guys did a really good job of judging talent and the kind of talent that you should have here for a couple of seasons. And you were able to build off of that and win another championship. How do you feel about how this one went for you guys?
It was like the group of guys we have. I mean, you just started out with team players, you know. At the end of the day, if the person can buy in and play as a team, that's success.
I think last season, when we, throughout all of last season, we're trying to make our team better for last season and to win that cup last season. But we're also thinking about the future always, right? And we did the same thing this season. So it's just like I think that's what really maybe puts us over the top from other management is that we're always thinking ahead. We're always trying to do the best we can for our team. So
you always got to have a plan.
Yeah.
We've got Bob the Ostrich joining us as well. Bob, again, congrats on winning this cup. And, we were talking to Aiden a little bit earlier and about how you guys are, again, one of the three defensive pairs. And I think if you look at all six defensemen on this team, I don't know if you can point out a pairing that is, head above everybody else. It seems like, the chemistry is right with all three of the defensive pairings. And you and Aiden certainly have showed it in this playoffs. You guys have played pretty well together. I don't know if we have Bob here.
Bobby?
He's on?
I was muted this whole time.
Oh, there you go.
Come on, Bob.
Go ahead, Bob.
I was getting really deep. And I'm like, you guys can hear me? I was just saying that, there's a system in place, right? When you have all players that can really follow a system, there's not one guy you look at. You look at it as a group. I guess some other teams that they rely on certain guys to really get them to the next level. But it doesn't matter who we put out on this team. We always know that we're gonna get the top level performance. And I never started as a forward. I never started as a defenseman. I started as a forward. It wasn't until my first year in LG when I was in the CHL as a TC. I knew I couldn't make it as a forward, so I switched to defense. So through different managements, through practicing by myself, I really developed myself. And the management on this team, Nazi, Jim, they've just pushed me to the next level. And I think they've done that for everyone on this team. They really made me come out of my shell. I remember when I got drafted in the NHL, I almost felt like I didn't want to play the game anymore because I kept getting traded. I just felt like worthless almost. But then I came to the Mies and, last year and everything changed. They really helped develop everyone on this team.
It's a family, bud.
It's a family.
Mies family, baby.
Well, you see, it really is true. I think you guys have played it that way, and I think it's the kind of situation that most players, when they sign up, are hoping they're going to get. And you hear a ton of horror stories, right? If you're in the shout box, obviously guys are willing to throw their PS4s out the window because they get so frustrated with this league, but. I think you guys understand, or at least you value the fact that you've got a bunch of guys who know what their role is and know what management expects from them. Management has respect for you guys. It just seems like you all understand what you're supposed to do on this team, and it makes sense, and you guys just follow it. Is that pretty much the way that this has worked out for you guys?
I'll say that's about right. Sometimes you have players, right? Like you get them in and you have a system, and sometimes they just can't follow it because they are so mentally attached to their own game. But everyone on this team, there's just a system that everyone agrees with. It works, and people want to be a part of it.
Anyone else want to talk about what this team has meant to you? As far as the idea that, playing on a team like this probably helps to motivate a lot of you guys to want to come back.
I'll touch on that a little bit. I've been here since I got drafted, so it's been 2 seasons now. and it's been a great time. Like you said, Sibs, like when people sign up, this is probably the experience that they're trying to get. But it seems like a lot of teams really don't get that. But I've had the pleasure of having that the last 2 seasons, and I hope to keep continuing it wherever I go.
You can only wish for the best, right?
It's true.
Well,
You
we
never
talked
know.
about it in between the 2 games, just about how the roster overturned and everything. And you all kind of touched on it earlier that when you're a new person going to the team, you're like saying, welcome to the family. Like, they have to fit to like the puzzle that you guys already made. Like, you guys
Exactly. Yeah, they got to
90%
fit our
of the work
style
done.
for sure.
How
Yeah,
much
they got to
easier-
fit our style of play.
Right.
Did it make it easier to go through and just kind of nitpick and be like, okay, this guy blended perfectly. We love his personality.
And
Yeah.
I mean that to me is one of the toughest things if you've done management in this league, and I'll ask Nazi this because obviously you and JM have to consider that it is not just talent, it's personality. We've seen teams with tremendous talent go down in the first round, second round. It's not just about that. You've got to be able to understand the players that are out there, how well they work within a team, and whether or not they're going to give you a headache every night. Because, again, any of us who've had teams like that, you don't want to manage again. And you guys have been able to judge that really well. You and JM have done a heck of a job with that for the last couple of seasons. How tough is that, Nas, to be able to prepare for the bidding, to prepare for to figure out if you're going to re-sign guys. How much work do you feel like you got to put in before the season starts?
Yeah, it is tough actually because you want to try to get the best player possible, and sometimes that best player possible isn't the best attitude. But I think Jim and I from day one is like we're not interested in attitudes. So if you give us attitude, we'll tell you to fuck off. So I think that's just kind of the way we look at it. And also, but yeah, when you go into bidding and drafting, that comes into play. But it's just being able to talk to the player as well, right? Like a one-on-one. I think that goes a long way.
Oh yeah, for sure. A lot of that happened, man. A lot of motivation, one-on-one talking, and getting people in the right mindset.
Yeah,
I never seen that in a management group before. Like honestly.
Yeah, when you get a player talking back to you, you're trying to help that player and help build his game, right? So.
Yeah, and the amount of scouting you guys do is incredible too. I mean, we could be first place in the league, and you're still trying to bring in players and get depth on the team because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's another thing. The amount, and it's that it just shows. It shows, right?
I'm sorry, we're trying to get Dr. Nasty
go
in
ahead.
here. We're trying to get Dr. Nasty in the room and having a little bit of an issue getting him in here. So if one of you guys can try and get him in the room here, but there's a 10-person limit, but we're down to 8, and for whatever reason I can't invite him in. So
actually, I'm gonna take off here pretty quick, but I just want to say a couple things to my team, and I think Jim and I want to announce are also the MVP for playoffs.
Absolutely.
Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I was hoping, and I was trying to get Nasty in because just in case he was the guy, I wanted to be able to have you talk to him. Okay. Nasty, you're here right now, buddy?
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys hear me?
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Nas. You and JM, go ahead and announce your MVP and anything else you guys want to say.
Jim, you want to say something?
No, we're good. You know what to do.
Well, I get the feeling it's not the first time JM has said that.
You got him, kid.
I think he's high right now.
Do you want to? Yeah, he's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's hear the vape, bud. Come on, give him a vape.
Hold on.
Just sauce me that.
There we go.
There you go. There's the vape.
All right.
Yeah, he said it. Enough said.
Tell him.
Go ahead, Nas.
So I just want to give a big shout out to pretty much everyone on the team. Our decor, just unbelievable. Lights out. Swag coming over at the deadline there. Just, really stepping up in the playoffs. Just the best hockey I've ever seen him play. A few weeks watching him. But anyways. And then, our goaltending core, Arch, man, just playing lights out, and being such a team guy, getting those 2 games a series, but still just being there, right? Sorry, I'm just walking my kid. And then Nasty as well, just like, from last season. Thank you, buddy. Like, best kid around, best goal you ever see. Just makes the saves to win his games. And going down to Jake and Snowy, Hank, Snowy, and Max, just fucking switching them up. That was a really big move for us, and it played off really, really huge in the last series and continued on to this series. So thank you for that. And BRB, man, like all season, these guys like just lighting it up, getting better and better every week. And like I've watched every game they play, and it's just to see them finish it here, Game 4. It was just it was awesome. I'm so super happy for them. Our playoff MVP is going to go to Bertone 2909.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you.
There you go.
It was a tough call. I wanted to give it to the whole line. I wanted to give it to Nasty. But, I mean, he just played lights out in the playoffs, and he just really carried this team on his back and took over these games.
Well, if it means anything to you, Krok agrees with you. He absolutely said Bert should be.
And, he's our guy, man. And I just, and then, that's it. Thank you, TSibs. Thank you, everybody. And fucking go Mies. Let's go.
Go Mies.
Thanks, guys.
See you next season, boys, because we're coming back. Well, we might not be coming back, but Mies are coming back.
Come back strong.
Hey, thanks, Nas.
Coming back strong.
And congrats again, Nas, for
thank you.
And
say goodnight to the kid for me.
Bert, take a lap, MVP. How do you feel about that?
I feel good, man. It's not just me, though. Especially, I'm going to give credit to my boys, Rocky and Brian. We've done it all season. When I've been down, they've picked me up. When they're down, I pick them up. It was the whole team. But, I'm kind of glad. Like I told JMM after kind of the whole thing that happened last season, I came to prove a point this season, and I think I did it.
Bertone getting announced as the MVP of this series, and again, great finish for your line tonight. Hard to think, obviously in the NHL, you never know what could happen there, but it's hard to think that you can get much better line mates than what you've had this season, and certainly in the playoffs with Rocky and Brian. You guys just seem to understand each other very well on the ice and know exactly what you need to do.
Yeah, I enjoyed playing with both you guys all season, and I hope we can get Rocky on here because it's been funny to hear it all season. Everyone's been saying
Brian,
and it's like
he's just as much in it.
He's
for
the
sure.
other tenor. He's the other tenor that no one knows.
We're trying to get Rocky in here right now.
I want him to get his due, man, because this kid was
he deserves
the
it.
amazing chemistry that we built all season. I mean, JMM and Nazi after week 4, they put us on. They told us they wanted to start challenging us, and they gave us top line after top line and top teams starting from week 4 on. And we just, like JMM's and Nazi said, we got better and better, and the chemistry was just off the charts. So Rocky deserves so much credit for that too.
Rocky, you there?
Yeah.
I think Rocky's trying to talk, but I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah, you gotta unmute your mic. I warned him all, Sibs. I said you gotta unmute your mic.
No, he was unmuted. Now he is muted.
Okay.
He was unmuted. For whatever reason, I'm not hearing him. I don't know why.
No one's talking.
It's not only you this time, Sibs.
Okay.
Maybe his microphone's muted, like me.
Well, much like he is on the line, he is a silent partner. So he's, even when we give Rocky a chance to talk, he can't get a word in past Brian and Bert. So. Sadly enough, it's maybe fittingly we're not going to hear from
somebody. Somebody kill a minute here. I want this kid on. I want him to get due.
Yeah, well, tell you what, Rocky, drop out and come back in, and let's see if that helps you out. He can.
I also would like to say we actually lost a top defenseman early in our season due to a real life circumstance, and I know he's listening and he's been following us all playoffs. And
it's for Chan, baby.
This was for you, buddy. You were one of our top defensemen, and you won a Calder with us last season, and it was horrible that we lost you. But you got to take care of yourself first and foremost. And glad we could do this for you, pal. I know you're listening. We miss you.
Yeah, Chanderson obviously a big part of that team last season. So, and to be honest, one of the best defensemen I've seen play this game, and that obviously, like you mentioned, a big loss. But again, you guys able to to make up for it, and even losing a guy like that, you still have 6 incredibly strong defensemen back there, and it just goes to testament of how good, even when there's an issue, you've got enough other talent, or you make moves, or whatever the case may be, and you're able to fill in that spot, and that's what management's all about to me. And when you do that well, you win cups, and obviously you lose somebody like Chan, and you're able to make up for it. That's a big reason why you guys win.
Yeah, it was and you know what? We brought in Peacewag as well.
That was huge.
And we traded away some depth in our team and forward to bring him in after we lost Chan, and he paid huge dividends for us. He was one of our best players all playoffs, but he's got a reputation of playing at that high a level. So wasn't surprised to see that out of him.
Did we not get Rocky back? I guess we didn't get him back.
I'm trying to get him on. I want this kid.
Let's see if I can possibly get him back into this call as well. But yeah, just to me, and I'll let Krok and JussSayin get a few words in here too. We talked about this all playoffs, guys, and we talked about it in the finals and tonight. Just a team in the Moose that just had great depth and was playing in the toughest division, which obviously can be detrimental to your playoff chances, but it also can build your team up into what to expect when the expectations get high in the playoffs. And the Moose responded the way that the talent level on this team should, and came back and just played tremendous down the road in the playoffs. And Joss, again, like I said, we've seen a lot of good teams over the last several seasons. You've been around, I think, just as long as I've been around. This is one of the better teams that we've seen in any of the 7 seasons that we've seen this league.
I know tonight, and I kind of wanted to touch on it, but I wanted to let the whole line get in here and get their word in before anything was said. But tonight, I'm sitting there watching the offensive line and the spacing and the chemistry in the offensive zone, from whether it be Bert carrying the puck, which he was able to do so much of, to even just the board play, the cycling, and just seeing everybody close enough to support when you're in trouble, but always there in the perfect spot for a pass. It's impressive, and it's nice to see the kind of hockey that you want to be a part of, but unfortunately not all of us get to be a part of.
I think we have Rocky on. Rocky, you there? We're still not hearing. We're still not hearing him. Oh, that's a shame.
It lit up green.
Yeah, it lit up green. I'm not sure why I'm not hearing him. There doesn't mean there's nothing here saying that he's muted. So I have a hard time understanding why I can't hear him. Who was that?
No, it was Bert.
Okay.
People aren't going to think this kid exists.
Sorry, Rocky. I'm not sure why we can't hear you. It doesn't make any sense to me. Might be something.
Second tag confirmed.
I'm playing center and left wing at the same time. 2 controllers going.
I don't know if we've talked to. I don't know if we talked to Nasty yet. And again, obviously, congrats on again another great playoff series. We saw you a little bit last season, but we got to see you all season this year, and everyone could talk about regular season, and that's regular season numbers, but you put them up in the playoffs, and you and Arch, again, another great goaltending tandem for the Moose. The Moose have been very lucky to have really good goaltenders for 3 years in a row, and this season is no different. You and Arch just make a really good pair.
Yeah, also a huge shout out to Churchy. He was actually with us up until the trade deadline, and he was super solid. So shout out to him. Arch was also amazing towards the tail end of the season. And just big shout out to the defense, too. The defense is what makes this all possible. Like, without the defense, I couldn't put up these numbers. There's no way.
That was our motto all season. Defense wins championships.
Well, we'll see.
Not to take away from the goalie, but gotta ask Bert, when you got that long stretch pass in Game 4, how excited were you?
Very excited but nervous at the same time. In this game, I'm always scared the goalie's going to come out flying actually with that desperation poke. But I don't know. I guess I just made the right move and I put it in the net. I was ecstatic. But that's typical Brian though. He knows where I'm going to be on the ice, and he's giving me all those all year and even last year.
It's like I was just passing you the MVP. Here you go. Boom. Take it.
Take it.
Finish it off. Finish it off, man. I mean, the chemistry we've had since the beginning of season 6 has just been amazing. I know where he's going to be centerman. I know where he's going to be all the time. I don't even have to look for him. I just have to react. That's it.
Yeah, I even feel like that with Rocky on the side. Even like I don't know if I can really. I think I can even speak for Brian here. For the first time we played with Rocky, we're like, this is the kid we want. This kid he fits with us perfectly, and clearly it worked.
We are Snowy's about ready to get on with us here shortly. We also have Pesdemic available, but we've got a pretty full room here, so we may have to bounce somebody soon to make that happen.
I can take off for you, Sibs.
I can take off too if anyone.
All right. Well, at least just one of you guys. If JM has any last words, we'll take that from him before he gets going. We'll try and get some of the other guys on as well.
To be honest, I'm just sitting here enjoying the boys.
I forgot you were here.
At the end of the day, it's their night. It's been amazing to see fucking kids killed it. But they took everything we told them and they just turned it into better. It's basically what they did for the last 2 seasons. You can tell them to do this, do that. It's the players that listen that are successful. These kids, they just knew what to do. They knew where each other were. I felt that we could put any line out there any night, and you're going to see something good. When one player is playing bad, the other player steps up. That's just how it is. That's how the Mees play hockey, and that's how I hope they continue to play hockey for the next few seasons. Longer.
All right, JM, thanks again. Congratulations, and best of luck wherever you are next season. And
he's in the Jets.
Nice,
the Jets now.
Yeah, so nice run there. A couple of great seasons with Manitoba. Now you get to try out the big club. See how that works out for you.
Oh yeah, bud. I'm not worried. All right, boys, enjoy your night. I'll be listening.
All right,
thanks, Jimmy.
JM 420, the one of the leaders there for the Moose, and he joined us here on the post-game show. We'll see if we get Snowy in here shortly, and maybe try and get Pez in here before we sign off here in a few minutes. We'll go a few more. We'll let you guys celebrate a little bit more on this.
It was Mark's on your show yesterday, and he said that JMM and Nazi have outmanaged everybody every round, all the managers.
They have.
I completely agree. The line matching and everything was just phenomenal all playoffs, and they put every line on our team in a position to be successful, and they deserve full credit for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we do have Snowy on, and he drove home very fast to make it on the post-game show.
No casualties.
Oh, is that my girlfriend?
That's good. That's good to hear. Hey, thanks for joining
back
us.
Massage.
Okay, well,
Watching the games.
Nice job tonight, and congrats on the win. Again, just a great defense by your team. We've talked about it all night. Just an amazing job by you, and talk a little bit about how the defense has played on your team all year long.
Test.
We hear you, Rocky.
Oh, we hear you. We'll get to Rocky next, and then we'll get to Pez.
The man, the myth is here.
Go ahead,
Just for me.
That's okay, Pez. We'll get to you. Don't worry
It's
about
just
it.
great.
No, that's fine. Keep going. I'm just here for the champagne.
Go ahead, Snow. Talk about your line and how well you guys played. That first game was like I said. I think we spoke to Hank a little bit earlier, and I thought it was the best game that I've seen you guys play. I know you haven't played that long together, but it seemed like you guys have been around playing on each other's line for a while. The way you guys played in Game 1, you had total command of it.
Yeah, me, Nazi, and Lobo weren't really working much this regular season. So JM came and said, we're gonna split you up. And I like moving around on the left sideboards a lot. Well,
right.
Me going on that line gives me that because we're all passive, and then I can make my play like I do. That game 1 yesterday, I think I gave it to Max for the first goal. And Lobo really likes to roam, so it's hard to do that when playing with Lobo. But Max and Hank gave me that option, and really enjoyed playing with them.
Hey, let's bounce over to Rocky, who we finally have on microphone here. And listen, congrats, and talk a little bit about the line. You're the guy I think that sometimes we forget about the third man on the line. There's a lot of Bert and Brian talked about, but you're just as much part of that success of that line. And I think it's good to. I think it's always tough to find two other guys up front to play with that you mesh so well together with. And I got to imagine this is probably one of the better lines you've played with.
Absolutely, yeah. You couldn't have said it any better. From the start of the season, I had no idea where I was going to end up playing. And then, I get placed with Bert and Brian, and they move the puck very well. So, I just had to adjust my game to them. And, it's just we won games from there on, so...
We won a lot of games.
Won a lot of games, yeah.
Just a few.
Yeah, no.
What did you guys have? Three losses
all season.
Amongst you all season.
Correct.
I think so. It was 3 straight out. Yeah, not counting the overtimes. But yeah, just a hell of a season by you guys, and we've seen some good lines in this league in 7 seasons. But you guys would have to be right up there in contention for maybe the best line that we've seen on any team in these 7 seasons. There's a lot of them to talk about, but you guys definitely would be up there, I think, Brian.
Chemistry is a beautiful thing. When you've got 3 guys all on the same page, the game is just so easy, and the skill just takes over from there. It's fun to watch.
Hey, let's quickly.
And it's fun to play.
Yeah, let's quickly talk to Pez. Congrats on this, and again, two great games on defense, and I think I2797 is looking for your address because you really frustrated the hell out of him tonight. He struggled after the first period. Obviously a couple of opportunities in the first, but after that, you had the corner of the net. You were stopping his passes into the crease, into the slot. And it looked like you and Pitch just played really well, helping to cover each other. Again, another good defensive pair on this team that just seems to know how to play as a defensive pair.
Yeah, I mean, both games tonight felt great on defense, especially with Pitch back there covering me. Especially in the second game, I feel like I had a couple breakdowns, but he was there. And then I don't know if we talked about it tonight, but definitely these last 2 seasons, the standout feature for me for this team has been team defense, including the forwards, very much including the forwards. I feel like better than any team I've ever played for. Forwards are covering their spots perfectly, and they're always there for outlets. They're covering us when we're out. And then I always have a D partner who's there to pick me up if I'm out. So it's just a beautiful thing to play these games. And, even some of the games in the playoffs that I lost this season, I just felt like it didn't feel bad. It just felt strong. Everybody felt like they're in the right spots. And I had no doubt that we were going to put up a hell of an effort these last 2 games.
Hey, let's try and wrap it up here and get you guys moving. Again, congrats on another cup win, and I want to give Brian here and Bert, the MVP, maybe the last word as we're getting out of here. What is this, especially for you, Brian? What does this mean, this championship? Obviously, you've been around for all 3, but where does this stand amongst all 3 of them?
Probably the best one, I think. I mean, I don't think we're going to be very well liked anymore. When we won the first one, everybody kind of liked us. They were like, "Oh, we're cheering for Manitoba. We love them. They're a nice team to like, you know. But now that we've got 3 straight, I think we're gonna have targets on our backs next season for sure. So, and no one can make fun of my tag anymore. If you want to call me Sauce, I'll just flash my fingers at you now. Okay. So,
all 3 of them, right? All 3 rings.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got 3 rings on my finger and a trophy in bed right now.
Are you talking about the actual cup, or are you talking about? No, I forgot it. We won't even go there.
How long have you been sitting on that? Holy shit!
And Bert, again, congrats on the MVP. Great playoffs, great series. I don't know what else we could say about your game and how well you guys work together, but definitely a team effort. You may get the MVP, but I know you've been saying all along, just the way you guys mesh together as a team is what makes all of you successful.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you just said, it's a team game, and I've had the pleasure of playing with these guys. I'm gonna miss Brian next season. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the future for sure.
And listen, Bob, Nasty, appreciate you guys jumping on earlier. Thanks for coming on. Congrats on the cup win.
Thank you
for having me.
And I know we only got Snowy and Pez on late here. And of course, Rocky got his mic working, so we're good now. But listen, congrats on great defense, by you, Pez, and Snowy, your line really stepping up and playing great, and Rocky being part of that top line. You guys all have a lot to be proud of. Congrats on the cup wins.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Love you, boys.
It's on the controller.
Hey, Krok, any last words before we get out of here?
Yeah, I just wanted to say congrats to the Moose. You did it. If it's your first time, be happy, because you never know when it's going to happen again. And if it's your third time, then good luck in the NHL. But all jokes aside, and I know this is the Moose's night, but also just wanted to thank you directly, Sibs, for all the media work that you've done this season.
For sure.
It's been fantastic calling games with you. And just what a great way to end the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
done an amazing job.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. We again are going to take off here, and congrats on the cup win. The Manitoba Moose, the Season 7 Calder Cup champions. Congrats, guys. We'll talk to you somewhere down the road.
Moose, baby.
All right, guys. Catch you guys today.
All right. That's it for our show tonight. And again, the final broadcast of the season right here on AHLPSN, LeagueGaming.com, and the YouTube channel. You've been watching the AHLPSN Calder Cup Finals on LeagueGaming.com and YouTube. Part of the PSN Media Group. TSibs for Krok and JussSayin, and the rest of the Moose and the T-Birds. We want to thank them for coming on all playoffs long. Best of luck to you guys in the future, and we will talk to you all somewhere down the road. I suppose Season 8. Talk to you folks later. Take care.